host for the night. This guy is the producer of the competition. He's been doing this for 5 years. He performs all around the country and a very funny guy and a good friend. Make it loud for Mr. Brian King, everybody. Brian King!
Thank you, folks. Thank you. Folks, give it on for Samson, everybody. My partner in crime in this thing. I would not be able to bring you this comedy competition if it wasn't for him. And you know, it's actually quite dark in here. Samson, can we turn up the house lights just a tad? Just a little bit? I have a couple other people I want to introduce before I get this show going, folks. There we go. A little bit more. I don't know. I can't see. Can you see? All right, folks. As Samson said, I am the producer of Walk the Plank, the comedy competition. Here's our 5th year. I wouldn't be able to get this accomplished if it wasn't for the help of Samson and also a couple of my friends in comedy. Folks, I have a couple of them in the audience, and they helped us out a great deal. George Kane, if you're in the room, please stand up. Let everybody see who you are. Ran the contest portion that occurred in Santa Cruz, and folks, a major contributor who ran 80% of our preliminary round, folks, here across the bay in San Francisco, Mr. Danny Deshi, everybody. I like to say that this wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for Danny, and that's absolutely true. Later, thank them, you know, on the way out, or you know, give them a nice handy in the bathroom, you know, something, you know. They're both here. I don't know. I think Danny brought a date, but George is cute. Anyways, Danny and George are here not only because they helped me out with this contest, but also because they're judging. They are our judges. They are 2/3 of our judges panel. My other judge, folks, is a longtime resident in the Bay Area, longtime comedian, performs all over the Bay Area, although she's taken a little bit of a hiatus to go give birth. Please, folks, everybody give it up for Iris Weiss, everybody. Iris Weiss. Comedian/mother. And I appreciate all of them being here. I appreciate all of you being here. Give yourselves a round of applause, folks. Misguided, delusional friends and family. I appreciate you being here, folks. Samson introduced me as, actually I think he introduced me wrong. He said, he just said Mr. Brian King. Folks, I'm a doctor, and I use my title on stage, so I am Dr. Brian King. Some of you might have picked up my card earlier, that's right. I am a doctor. I do comedy for a living now, which means that my parents are hella proud. And it's like, oh yeah, there he goes, $150,000 worth of student loans, and he's telling dick jokes on stage. We're so very proud of that guy. I am a doctor. I don't use my title off stage, though. It's more of a stage name at this point. Helps to distinguish me from other comedians. There's a lot of other fat white comics out there. And, I see a couple of them tonight. But no, it sticks in their head, that doctor guy. I was actually identified in the street once as like that doctor guy, but that was actually my mother. It was I use it on stage, folks. I tell you, I don't use it off stage. I've never been comfortable calling myself Dr. King. That's a name that's been taken. I think some of you didn't laugh at that. Apparently you were skipping school in February. This is your first trip to Oakland. It's a very Caucasian crowd for Oakland. I gotta be honest with you. We turned the lights up a little bit, but you know, I can see a lot of glare. There's a lot of pasty-ass white people in this room. This is gonna be interesting when people start getting real. No, I don't go by Dr. King. I don't. Although I will say though that there are some. You know, I don't mind being associated with a historical figure. In fact, I'll be honest with you. I like my own holiday. You know, I think I've done some things that are holiday worthy too. You know, like I have made that trip from Selma to Montgomery. I took the bus though; it's way faster. Sat in the front. You can do that now. I can always do that. That's right. But yeah, so Brian's fine. I do use Dr. Brian King as a stage name because I got the domain, the website, drbrianking.com. So check me out if you're interested in learning more about the shows that I produce or me in general. If you just want to say hi, or if you have a dick pic request, either way, I will. I try to accommodate all. I'll ask one of my friends to pose if I can't do the job. But I really do appreciate you guys being here. I just got off the road. I was on the road for a long time, folks. I tour all over the country doing comedy. And right before I got here, I was in Florida. I really, really love Florida, I gotta tell you. It reminds me of California. Yeah, they got beaches and palm trees and stuff. But there's an important difference, though, is because for some reason, they refer to their Mexicans as Cubans. It's otherwise, it's really similar. I knew the white people would get texts when I started mentioning race. Did you hear that? That was a groan from the whitest dude in the room. But I did. I had a good time in Florida. I was touring for about 3 weeks. I did something on the tour that I had never done before, folks. I swam with manatees. Which is a really, you guys are looking at me like, fuck you, who cares? They're really sweet animals, and they're cute, and they're kind of like elephants that live under the water. It's interesting. The weird thing is, though, I got into the water, and they all started coming up to me. And it took me a while to realize this, is that in a wetsuit, I kind of look like a manatee. I have that look to myself. But that's my first time wearing a wetsuit, too. And that's a pretty weird thing. Anybody surf? Anybody in here? Round of applause. Yeah, you're giving me pity. Well, if you've never worn a wetsuit, I don't know, I've never had a reason to wear a wetsuit before. It's my first time wearing one, and I first of all, I look great in a wetsuit, let me tell you. That is so not true. But the thing I didn't know about wetsuits is that they not only keep water out, they also keep water in, and that's a problem for me because as soon as I hit that cold Florida water and saw those big ass manatees, I kind of peed myself, and apparently that pee was with me for the entire time. You know when you pee in a pool, you're kind of safe, you know that the pee's going to go somewhere else, if anything, you're going to call your brother over and be like, hey Joey, come on over here, check this, it's warm in this part, you trick your brother into swimming in your urine. Well, no such luck with a wetsuit, man. I had no idea. So I'm swimming around, I'm having a good time, making friends with the manatees. And let me just tell you, by the way, if a 1,200-pound animal decides to hump your leg, you let it. All right, so that's all I'm going to say about that. But there was a giant ass. I'm like, okay, this is going to happen for a while. I'm going to kick away a manatee. They're endangered. Anyways, I get out of the water, and I notice that there's kind of a bubble. And it's the weirdest thing. I created a little valve. I released it, and then everybody made fun of me, and the place smelled, and I'm an asshole. So anyways, lesson learned, if you swim with manatees, first of all, don't be fat. Second of all, don't pee your wetsuit. That's all I'm saying. So good to be back in California. I do like traveling, though. I spent about 10 months out of the year on the road. I love the entire country. I love going out to the Midwest in particular, because out there, nobody knows I'm fat. Just kind of nice, really. I was in Ohio. This dude's like, hey, man, are you a model? I was like, yeah, I'm a model. I ended up making a cool $50 that day. I had to do full frontal, all right? They couldn't see anything. You grow that modesty flap for a reason. That guy knows what I'm talking about. Anyways, I live in LA, in Los Angeles, and I live in West Hollywood, which is a particularly healthy, fit area of Los Angeles. If you don't know anything about West Hollywood, it is known for two things: for being the home of Sunset Strip and hella amounts of gay people. It's the gayest city in the country, I believe. In fact, the statistics are 45% of West Hollywood, the residents of West Hollywood, are gay men. and I look like this. So basically it means I'm like the fattest guy in the whole city. They don't even give me a trophy for that, really. As soon as I get back, I develop a bad case of anorexia. My roommate has bulimia. It's pretty bad. Actually, a friend of mine was answering me. He's like, why do you live in West Hollywood if you're not gay? Because I fucking love gay guys, and they get the best hand jobs. They know how it's supposed to be done. He's like, is your roommate gay? I'm like, no. He's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, how do you know your roommate's not gay? I'm like, really? I fucking know. He's my roommate. He's like, well, how can you know for sure? I'm like, well, because last time we were having sex, he was so not into it. Like, he was reading a book the entire time, you know? I was like, hey, come on, man, at least pretend, you know? So that's how I know. No, we're not gay, but I do love living down there. I really do. It's a fantastic area. I used to live in San Francisco. Used to live up here. I miss it. I like San Francisco. It's a great town. It's liberal. It's, one thing, West Hollywood's liberal, San Francisco is liberal. You can probably guess where I lean politically. I don't vote, but I like to live next to people who would vote like I would. Takes a lot of pressure off. Right? It's like, how do you feel about abortion? Me too, I'm gonna live next to you. But no, it's I used to live in San Francisco, a hell of a liberal town. You guys remember, I forget what year this happened, but most of you guys are in the Bay Area. A few years ago, the city of San Francisco voted to outlaw guns. You guys remember that? They actually voted to make guns illegal, which is unconstitutional, but the entire time that's going down, folks, I'm thinking, you know what? They got plenty of guns in Oakland, right? Like, if I want a gun, I'm just going to cross the bridge. I'll just pay that bridge toll. It's cheaper than the gun tax. And I was like, and besides, folks, do we really want to be unarmed against fucking Oakland? Like when that big war breaks out, we really want to be in the losing side in that battle? I don't think so. So they outlawed guns, they outlawed plastic bags, which is weird because I kept my gun in a plastic bag, as per the requirements of, I don't know, no, I'm kidding, I keep it in my pocket, I have it right now. So you better start laughing, fuckers. I don't know. I'm telling you, I can't see you guys very well. I don't trust you. I don't know what that is. And no, I trust you just fine. I just feel like you're judging me. I know 3 of you actually are judging me because I paid you to be here to judge people. But the rest of you, what else do I want to talk about? I've been all over the road. It's just so good to be here and so good to be hosting this contest. Let me tell you some more about my travels. I had a really good time in Kentucky. I love Kentucky. Kentucky's really cool. Actually, if you've never been to Kentucky, let me just tell you, it's like Ohio's version of Mexico. Like, you cross that river and immediately, like, everything's legal, man. You can smoke in bars again, you can eat whatever you want, you can marry your sister. It's like it's really weird. The entire time I was in Kentucky, I just wish I had hotter relatives, really. I think that was the whole thing. And fewer teeth. They make bourbon in Kentucky, and they'll be very quick to tell you what the difference is between bourbon and whiskey. And I went to all these different bourbon distilleries, and I'll tell you the difference is that they make bourbon in Kentucky. that's like the only fucking difference. It's like, well, bourbon has to have 52% corn in its ingredients, so whiskey can have 51%. Like, really? That's a fucking difference? You inbred, retarded fucking guys. They didn't like that joke very well, I gotta say. But no, I really enjoyed it though. It's fun. I love touring. I love touring all over, man. I do. It's great, and I love that I get to come back to the place I love, in California, and particularly the Bay Area, because fuck Los Angeles. Although I don't mean that to pander. I'm just saying, really, fuck Los Angeles. I like it down there because of the sun. Whenever people talk about LA, they talk about the weather. The weather is fantastic, and it is if you're skinny. It's like I'm sweating my ass off just walking down the block. It's horrible. So I get to go back on the road again, and hopefully that'll be fun. I'll tell you one thing about being on the road. It's tough. I make a lot of references to my body size. It's tough to be thin when you live on the road. It's hard. I don't have those good habits. I don't work out, and I eat out all the time. I do. It's like, I went to a restaurant recently, folks, and I want to prevent any of you guys from going there. It's a place called Outback Steakhouse. Have you guys heard about this place? It's horrible, a terrible place. Here's the thing about Outback Steakhouse is that they bill it as the Australian steakhouse. It's Australian food. Folks, I went in there, there's not a damn thing Australian in that menu, you know? I went in looking for like some koala meat, a kangaroo burger, some platypus strips, something. These are all Australian animals, by the way, sir. We're gonna catch up later. And nothing, man. They just had regular food. And right there in the menu, they have this slogan, right? It says, "No rules, just right." I'm like, oh yeah, no rules? All right. How about I don't pay for this dinner? How about I don't wear pants? How about you don't wear pants? Let's make this a party. Really. If you don't have any rules, give me some koala meat like I wanted. Like, they're cute animals. I bet you they taste awesome. That's a stupid slogan, folks. They need to change that to Outback Steakhouse, Australian for Applebee's. Which I think would be a much better improvement. I tend to ramble when I start talking about my travels. I want to get off of here so I can give you guys the rest of your show. So I'm gonna call it for me right now. You guys ready to get this thing started? First of all, you should all have a ballot, unless you snuck in, and then fuck you for sneaking in. You owe us $15. But you should all have a ballot in your hands, folks. On that ballot, at the end of the night, you're going to circle your 4 favorite people. You have to circle 4. If you circle any less or any more than 4, your ballot is invalidated. We're not going to count it. So please make sure you circle 4. Also, please make sure you give it to us at the end of the night. Maybe an emergency pops up and you got to split. Well, that's fine. I understand, but unfortunately, you didn't get to see the rest of the performers, so we can't take your vote. It's just not fair, people that come in late, again, they don't get a ballot for the same reason. We try to keep it fair. So circle your favorite 4 at the end of the show. And 3 of those people, of course, will go on to, they're not going to go on to anything. This is the finals. They're going to go home. They're going to go home with a little bit of money in their pockets. And they're going to the pride of having a job well done. But I like to think that Walk the Plank has become a prestigious event for Bay Area comedians. I like to think that because I'm schizophrenic. But it's at least it's a 5th year. It's a 5th year we've been doing this, so it's become somewhat of a tradition. I fear when you get your 5th year. Thank you. Because it's a lot of hard work, and we've switched venues, and we've done it in different places, in different formats, but we've kept it going for 5 years. I really appreciate that. I like to think that the 5th year being our major hurdle, we are now, we've got our sights on being, a sort of a permanent institution in Bay Area comedy, and I hope that, the comics, they get something out of this. I do this for them, really. We charge you guys to get in. We're barely covering, the contest as it is. I mean, we do it, it's a labor of love is what I'm getting at. I like to think that this will be helpful for their careers. I know a lot of the comics who won the previous 4 years have gone on to do great things, and I like to take credit for that because that's me. But hopefully we're going to have a good show tonight, and of course we are going to have our 3 finalists at the end of the night. So you guys ready for a fantastic show? Yeah.